Two machines, one American farm, and a price tag that can crush a family operation or build a dynasty for the next 3 generations. The John Deere 9RX 830, 830 horsepower. The biggest, most powerful tractor John Deere has ever built for production agriculture. The machine that green loyalists treat like a religion, and the Case IH Quadtrac 715, 715 horsepower of pure red aggression, with 4 independent tracks engineered to dominate the heaviest, most unforgiving soil conditions on Earth. Both of these machines will cost you close to $1 million by the time you finance, configure, and take delivery. So before you write that check, watch this video, because the wrong choice doesn't just hurt your operation, it haunts you for the next 15 years. Let's set the stakes first. The John Deere 9RX 830 sits at the absolute top of the 9 Series lineup. It is powered by a John Deere PowerTech PSS 13.5-litre engine, producing 830 horsepower and 3,050 foot-pounds of peak torque. This is not a tractor you buy for a small operation. This is the machine you buy when you're farming 5, 8, 10,000 acres and you need to finish the field before a weather window closes. The Case IH Quadtrac 715 runs a FPT Cursor 13-litre engine, delivering 715 horsepower and 2,890 foot-pounds of torque. The Quadtrac platform is legendary. 4 independent triangular track units, 0 lifting of the front axle under load, floating traction across every terrain condition imaginable. On paper, the Deere has more horsepower, but on the farm, horsepower alone never wins the argument. The real fight happens in the dirt and in your accountant's spreadsheet. Let's talk about what those numbers actually mean when the implement hits the ground at 2 feet deep. The 9RX 830's 830 horsepower is delivered through John Deere's E18 19-speed powershift transmission with Efficiency Manager. What that system does is extraordinary. It continuously adjusts ground speed and engine load to maintain the most fuel-efficient power band while keeping your implement at the correct operating depth. You are not just buying horsepower, you are buying intelligent horsepower that reacts to the soil in real time. Peak torque of 3,050 foot-pounds at 1,100 revolutions per minute means the 9RX 830 pulls out of traction events, moments where the tracks slip or the implement catches a hard layer, with almost no recovery time. The engine barely notices. Now the Quadtrac 715. 715 horsepower sounds like a step down until you understand the Quadtrac advantage. That 4-track platform distributes machine weight across a ground contact footprint that is dramatically larger than any 2-track or wheeled competitor. The Quadtrac 715 weighs approximately 79,000 pounds in working configuration. Spread across 4 tracks, that translates to one of the lowest ground pressure ratings in this horsepower class, roughly 7 to 8 pounds per square inch depending on ballasting. What that means in practice, the Quadtrac 715 moves through saturated wet heavy soil conditions with traction that a higher horsepower machine on conventional tracks simply cannot match. Farmers running the Quadtrac in the Red River Valley, the Mississippi Delta, regions where late-season soil conditions are brutal, consistently report that the 715 pulls loads in conditions where other machines are forced to park. The 9RX 830 fights back with its own 4-track ILS system, independent link suspension, which is the only track tractor in its class offering full front axle suspension. That suspension isolates the cab from shock and vibration at high field speeds, but more importantly, it maintains constant 4-track ground contact over uneven terrain. The practical result is consistent draft load and better tractive efficiency during long straight passes. Who wins this pillar? It depends entirely on your ground. Rocky, rolling terrain with hard layers? The 9RX 830's suspension and pure horsepower advantage is decisive. Deep, wet, saturated black soil. The Quadtrac's ground pressure advantage changes the equation entirely. Neither machine is universally superior. Both are genuinely excellent. That is what makes this fight so compelling. Here is where most buyers stop doing math, and where most buying mistakes happen. When you put a machine in this horsepower class to work, fuel consumption is not a number you check occasionally. It is a number that defines your profitability on every single acre. The John Deere 9RX 830, under full load, deep tillage, heavy frame implements, consumes in the range of 20 to 25 gallons per hour, depending on the application and field conditions. If you are running this machine 400 hours per season, which is aggressive but realistic for a large row crop operation, you are burning somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 gallons of diesel per season on this machine alone. At current retail diesel prices in agricultural markets, that is a direct operating cost between $24,000 and $32,000 in fuel every single season. The Case IH Quadtrac 715, with slightly lower rated horsepower, but comparable real-world draft loads, runs at roughly 18 to 22 gallons per hour under full field load. Over the same 400 season hours, you are looking at 7,200 to 8,800 gallons, meaningfully lower. The fuel savings over 5 operating seasons can approach $25,000 or more. That is not a rounding error, that is real money. Planned maintenance intervals also matter. Both machines require major service at 500 engine hours, including oil, filters and track system inspection. Dealer service rates for machines in this class typically run between $140 and $180 per hour in most American agricultural regions. A single major service event can cost between $3,500 and $6,000 in parts and labor, depending on what the inspection reveals. Track system replacement is the maintenance event that keeps farmers up at night. Both machines operate on rubber composite track systems. A full 4-track replacement on either platform, the Quadtrac or the 9RX, runs between $55,000 and $70,000 when you include installation. Most heavy track systems in this class deliver between 1,500 and 2,500 hours of useful life, depending on soil type, field conditions, and operating practice. On sandy, abrasive soils, that lifespan drops. On soft, wet ground, it extends. The financial reality is this: by year 5 of ownership, the total operating cost of either machine, fuel, planned maintenance, track wear, unplanned repairs, will exceed the original purchase price. You are not buying a tractor for 5 years. You are committing to a long-term financial relationship. Make sure your banker understands that. Make sure your operation can carry it. Let's talk about what it actually feels like to spend 12 hours inside these machines, because operator comfort and technology are not luxury features in modern agriculture. They are productivity multipliers. The John Deere 9RX 830 comes equipped with the Command View IV cab, the latest generation of what is arguably the most refined cab environment in the industry. Suspended seat with active air cushioning, a 10-inch touchscreen primary display alongside a secondary display for implement management, climate control that maintains cab temperature within 1 degree regardless of ambient conditions. Sound levels inside the Command View IV cab are measured at approximately 70 decibels at full engine load, quieter than a normal conversation at close range. The technology integration is where John Deere creates its most fanatical loyalty. The 9RX 830 runs John Deere Operations Center, a cloud-based fleet management and agronomic data platform that records every pass, every fuel burn event, every mechanical alert, and every field boundary in real time. Integrated auto-track guidance runs on John Deere Starfire 606 receivers, delivering sub-2 cm pass-to-pass accuracy. Section control, prescription variable rate application, remote display access for agronomists, all of this is native, fully integrated, and updated continuously through John Deere's dealer network. The Case IH Quadtrac 715 answers with the AFS Pro 600 cab and the AFS Connect precision farming platform. The cab is outstanding, quieter than previous Quadtrac generations, with an ergonomically redesigned armrest. Console that puts every major control within natural thumb reach. The primary display is a 12-inch touchscreen with multi-app capability. Case IH's AFS AccuGuide guidance system delivers comparable sub-2 cm accuracy through the Trimble-based receiver integration. Where Case IH has historically challenged John Deere is in the openness of its technology ecosystem. The AFS platform integrates more natively with third-party agronomic software and independent GPS receivers than John Deere's more closed architecture. For large operations that have already invested in multi-brand fleets and independent data management systems, that openness has real operational value. The ego component is real and should not be dismissed. In American farming culture, The brand on the hood of your lead tractor communicates something about your operation. John Deere green is the dominant cultural signal. It says scale, it says technology, it says commitment to the highest level of the industry. Case IH red carries its own identity. Tougher, more independent, less corporate, built for farmers who prioritize performance over brand narrative. Neither of these is wrong, but know which one you are buying. Here is the conversation that every dealer avoids, and every smart buyer demands to have. Machines in this horsepower class depreciate aggressively in the first 3 years of ownership, based on market data from Tractor House and regional auction results for large tracked tractors. Both the John Deere 9RX series and Case IH Quadtrac series typically lose between 25 and 35% of their original purchase value within the first 3 years under normal operating use of 300 to 500 hours per season. On a machine purchased at $900,000, which is a realistic configured price for either of these units with precision ag packages and large implement capacity, that depreciation represents a loss of between $225,000 and $315,000 in the first 3 years alone. The John Deere 9RX platform historically holds slightly stronger resale values in most American agricultural markets, driven by the brand's dominant dealer network and the consumer confidence that comes with that dealer density. When you can sell a used John Deere anywhere in the Corn Belt and find a buyer within 60 days, that liquidity has real financial value. The Case IH Quadtrac holds strong resale in regions where its operational advantages are most understood: the northern Great Plains, the Pacific Northwest grain country, and the heavy clay soils of the upper Midwest. In those markets, a clean used Quadtrac 715 commands respect and commands price. The smartest financial approach for either machine is a structured trade cycle. Take delivery, run it hard for 4 to 5 seasons, and trade or sell before major drivetrain and track system expenditures converge. Farmers who hold these machines to 10,000 hours often discover that the cost of keeping the machine running in its final years exceeds the value it generates. Here is the moment no spec sheet prepares you for. It is 3 in the morning. You have 2 days before a hard rain system closes your planting window. You have 4,000 acres left. Your machine has been running for 22 straight hours, and something feels wrong in the transmission. In that moment, what matters is not which machine has more horsepower on paper. What matters is how fast can your dealer get a technician to your field? What does that service call cost? And how quickly does that machine get back to work? John Deere's dealer network density in the United States is unmatched in the industry. Over 1,500 authorized service locations. Most major agricultural counties have a full-service dealer within 45 minutes. That network is a tangible operational asset, not a marketing claim. Case IH's dealer network is strong, particularly in the northern plains and major Corn Belt states, but less uniformly dense. In some western and southeastern agricultural regions, service response times can be longer. For operations in well-served Case IH territories, this is a non-issue. For operations in more isolated regions, it deserves an honest conversation with your local dealer before you commit. Green versus red. 830 horsepower versus 4-track. Dominance in heavy soil. Technology ecosystem versus open platform. A dealer on every corner versus a machine built for conditions where others park. This is not a simple decision, and anyone who tells you it is has never written a check with 6 zeros on it. So here is where we land. If you are farming flat, high-productivity ground, the Illinois river bottoms, the Iowa Corn Belt, the Saskatchewan grain plains, where you need raw horsepower, the industry's most advanced technology stack, and the peace of mind that comes with the deepest dealer network in American agriculture, the John Deere 9RX 830 is the machine that earns every dollar of its price. If you are farming heavy, wet, challenging ground, the Red River Valley, the clay soils of the Dakotas, any terrain where ground pressure and 4-track traction are the deciding factors between finishing the field and watching your crop window close. The Case IH Quadtrac 715 does something the Deere cannot fully replicate, and it will save you real money in fuel over the life of ownership. Both machines are extraordinary. Both machines will make your operation more productive, but only one of them is the right machine for your specific ground, your specific operation, and your specific financial structure. Now here is the question I want you to answer in the comments. If you had $1 million and one decision, green tracks or red tracks, which machine pulls the trigger for your operation and why? Drop it below. This community knows their machines. Let's find out where American farmers actually stand.